determining, supply uncertainty component determining their responsiveness. So this is the motivation for this. These definitions are all standard. I don't need to go through those. What is supply chain? What is supply chain management? What is demand uncertainty? What is implied demand uncertainty? I need to do it for the completeness sake. What is supply uncertainty? What is responsiveness? I'm not going to spend time on that. Now, what is the hypothesis we are proposing? That for Indian auto component industry, supply chains are designed as per Fisher's framework and later extended by Lee. That means responsiveness is influenced by implied demand uncertainty and supply uncertainty faced. Okay, so this is the hypothesis we are putting up. For this, actually, this is only a small set of what we did from this data collection. So we made a questionnaire, and we sent to over 400 members of ECMA. We got 86 responses after a lot of hard work. This is a pretty good response rate given the situation in Indian industry. Typically, 10% is hard to hit, but I had to give credit to my RA, who was very good in finding ways. For most of the questions, 5-point Likert scale, strongly agree, disagree. This is a kind of question scale which was used. And this can be questioned, but basically for all the missing responses, I took it that they are neutral. Okay, so this somebody can question that, but this is what I did. Now, just a very brief profile of what kind of respondents were there. So we asked them to classify. So about 41% classified themselves as OEMs in auto component sector. Okay, about 5% classified themselves as raw material suppliers. 34% classified themselves as industrial goods suppliers, and so on. In these organizations which responded, what is the senior most title of the supply chain guy? So 38% people had a director of supply chain management. 27% had a GM level presence in the field of supply chain, and so on. Other information, average turnover of the companies which responded was 2260 crores. Number of companies with turnover greater than 500 crores were 5. Number of companies with turnover between 100 and 500 crores were 22. About the respondents, about 1/3 were director or higher level, MD or something. Other 1/3 were GMs, and then the rest were lower than GM. Average number of respondents in the industry, 19 years. Average numbers of years with the current organization, 8 years. And in the current position, about 4. Now the rest of the presentation, now what we have done, for each of those things which I defined, uncertain other things, we have defined them as abstract variables or latent variables in the framework of supply chain. And they are to be measured by various responses which we collected via our supply chain questionnaire. So what I will do for each of my abstract variables, I will tell you what are the items I used to measure them, okay, and as such derive a measurement model, and then ultimately I will talk about the relationship model. So this is now supply chain, this SEM terminology, but basically these are since I cannot measure the abstract variable directly, I measure them via a series of questions, okay? So for measuring implied demand uncertainty, I use these series of questions. I given them the same idea as they were there in my questionnaire, okay? So if the customer order quantities are widely varying, or if they expect the orders in a short period of time, and so on, these questions have come from various places in the literature, and they are very standard ways to look at the demand uncertainty which has been faced. Now, for each of these also I thought it worthwhile to talk about the individual responses. So to the question where our customer orders were widely varying, 44% people agreed, 34% people strongly agreed, and others, of course, other responses you see. Our customers expect us to deliver products within a short period of time. You see the strongest response there. The time is, the criticality of time comes out more clearly than other responses. Our customers demand more variety in our products. Again, you see that there is an imbalance here, okay? Our customers expect very high product availability. Again, the responses are on the higher side. Okay, our customers are price sensitive. Again, you see that it is not that important. If you see these are just percentages of the responses which are there. There is no analysis done, just graphs. The price sensitivity is not that important. Our customers expect us to introduce new products very frequently. Again, it's all over. That's not that thing does not come out that clearly. Number of ways in which we can reach our customers is growing. that people are agreeing to. We get the forecast from marketing. Now, this is a thing in supply chain that if you know as much about the market directly, it's better for you. In this case, it looks like most of the information is coming through the channel, okay, about their development of forecast. Our end users can directly buy from us. People do not agree. They always go via the channel. Okay. So this is just some of the things which I collected, whatever I've been saying. Supplying in time is a critical challenge faced by the surveyed group. Customers are not that price sensitive. Industry still relies on channels for understanding of the market demand. Supply chains are relatively long as end users have to go via channels to buy products. And this could be on the repair side, maintenance side as well. Okay. Now similarly for supply uncertainty, I had these various indicators. I'll just go over them very quickly. We never face any breakdown in supplies from our suppliers. People do not agree. Our supplier quality is good. People tend to agree. Our suppliers have limited capacity. Again, that is people agree with that. Our suppliers are able to change volume. Our suppliers are able to change product mix. People agree with that they are able to do that. Our suppliers are able to deliver new components when we switch to new products. Again, there seems to be two, the responses are in between. So there is some. Our suppliers are able to meet large increase in order without delaying supplies. People are not agreeing with that. Okay, our suppliers are considered to be stable and reliable. Most people think that their suppliers are stable and reliable. We keep multiple suppliers. Again, you see a big number which is agreeing, and then a big number which is disagreeing. There is a to and to that. Okay. We have been reducing the number of suppliers per component. People are working on that. Our supplier base is located nearby. Geographically, that can impact your uncertainty you face. So that people agree. Our suppliers are able to supply in small lead time. Again, we see two clusters. About 22% disagree here, and then a good number agree there. Our supplier base consists of big suppliers. Okay. So supplier breakdowns are common occurrence. The members of auto component industries feel that the supply quality is reasonably good. Suppliers have limited capacity, but they are able to provide volume, product mix flexibility, and cope with changes required during new product introduction. However, suppliers are not able to deal with large volume changes without delaying the supplies. Multiple suppliers are common occurrences in the industry, even though the trend is towards declining. This is just a gist of what is. Supply base consists of reliable but moderate size suppliers who are often located nearby and able to supply in small lead times. So this gives a picture of. Now, similarly, we tried to measure responsiveness through these. And we are able to supply, and what the respondents are saying on this side, we are able to supply wide ranges of quantities demanded. People are agreeing. We are always firefighting. So again, so many people disagree with that. We have to reject orders when variety demanded is not possible for us to supply. The responses are all over. Okay. We are mostly able to meet customer requirements from the list of products which we manufacture. People agree. So that means they are offering. They are not that much customizing. They are offering what they are only giving what they already are making, and there is not much product innovation. Whatever they are offering this year will also be offered next year. We usually face supply shortages for production. Again, you see the responses all over. There is a lot of imbalance in this set of items, but clearly shows the industry does not innovate and introduce new products rapidly. It prefers to sell from the standard lot and not customize much. Now, this is about SEM methodology. I already said something. I will not go over the slides on the mathematics side that much. They're not that many anyway. But basically what we did from those list of indicators, we did an exploratory factor analysis to pick up the variables which are, looking like they're contributing to this factor. Then we, on the basis of that, we developed a measurement model. And then we used EQS to figure out the relation and to do all this. Okay, now these are just some of the tests which one has to use and the parameters. I will not worry about those too much. Okay, so we did a factor analysis, and out of so many, these factors came out to be important. Okay, the IDs have been given. Okay, similarly, we did the model. Again, the numbers are good in this case, except one, reliability, which is marginal, but one of the indicators was close to our desired value of 0.7, so I will. So we said we'll go ahead with that. And then similarly for supply uncertainty, we did the EFA, and then after that we developed a measurement model based on this. Again, when we developed the indicators for that, we run a test on that. That model was turned out to be strong, actually. You see on the right-hand column, all are yeses. So that's a strong one. Okay. And then similarly, we developed a model for responsiveness. Now, in this, you can see that some of the tests are not met as well. Actually, this has to do with also the number of responses we have. So there is some degree of, some pinch of salt to take. But in most SEM analysis, if the CFI and root mean square, they are on that value, then people tend to look at only how robust the other values are and go ahead with that. In this case, yes, the relationship model is not as strong as we would like it to be. Okay. So then the relationship model was as based on the first one, that there is an uncertainty which is coming from implied demand uncertainty and supply uncertainty, and that is affecting the responsiveness. This means that the null hypothesis of the factor loading for implied demand uncertainty 0 is true, while the same is rejected for supply uncertainty. That I will translate that as that the responsiveness in Indian component industry is influenced by the supply uncertainty and not by implied demand uncertainty. So this is the result which I have. We need to go a lot further than this, and I think I have meshed all time dimensions, okay, in terms of finishing it in time. And I will take any questions which you may have. There is some, 86 responses, even though they are large, but when you look at the desired number of responses which are required for this analysis, they are a little less. And the other thing which somebody can question, that we are talking about supply chain designs, but actually all the questions were asked with regard to individual company. We are talking about how are you facing the demand uncertainty, how are you facing the supply uncertainty, how are you responsive. But then one has to see that you really need to see this in terms of they being parts of complex supply chains where they represent in themselves a supply chain. Okay, because many times it's a network. They are supplying to everybody and they're receiving supplies from anybody. So in that sense, they are actually answering about the supply chain. That is questionable, but that is another weakness which is there. I'll take any questions you may have. Yes.
Sir, since you did the factor analysis, I presume that you had left out some variables from the original set of variables. Right. So do you think that if you look into the data through a different methodology where you can include all the variables, maybe you will get a different result, or maybe you will get some new conclusions which have not come out in this because of the exclusion of those variables?
See, the thing is, if they are eliminated by one, that means they do not have that significant impact. I have no reason to believe that other methodologies will show, if the different methodologies are going to throw up that widely different results, then what is the use? So I do not have any reason to believe that other methodologies will differ as much in throwing. Of course, I have not tried. But
no, just say something new will also come out. Say, something extra, which maybe.
When this is being thrown out, it's basically saying that it does not have impact on this. So suppose you do not do EFA, you run the measurement model with all the variables. You will find that those loadings will not be significant.
Some will be insignificant.
Anyway, you have to reject them. Definitely. So it is. I have no reason to believe that others will show up something different than this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Gautam Bose. My question is, have you done any studies on the status of logistics and transportation infrastructure and how that quantitatively impacts the uncertainties?
No, as you are seeing, these are this is measured based on a particular framework. Okay, and so from there we are developing our measurement model and other things. I believe that all that ultimately gets translated into some of these questions.
That's right.
Okay, so even though there is no direct study which is done, but when we ask somebody that are you able to receive supplies in time, I guess the reason for, one of the reasons could be that the transportation is poor. One of the reasons could be that the power situation is poor in those regions. So that all gets embodied in what ultimately gets translated into, are you receiving supplies in time? Okay, so it is indirectly coming there, but directly it is not. Let me just tell you, the collection of data is not that easy. And in fact, we had deliberately tried to keep the survey questionnaire very small so that people at the various levels will be able to respond to it. And even then, it took quite an effort to get to this. In fact, I had planned on 3 sectors. Could do only in one. Other one is going on with hardly 10 responses till now. Okay.
You studied mainly auto component manufacturers, but who are the suppliers? Do you mean they are primarily there for raw material suppliers? So this dominance of supply uncertainty relates to uncertainty in getting raw materials?
No, we need to see,